All right, as we write on this again, I'll send you the updated document so you guys can keep that. All right, a bit of revision. This just combines both of the two units that we've done above. So we're going to revise multiplying and dividing of pronumerals. So let's just recap. When we're multiplying our pronumerals, a times a, that gets me a squared. And then, of course, 8 times 2 is 16a squared. So what we said last week, we said do our numbers first and then each respective letter. That way you won't miss anything. So 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. Then each letter, so a times a, that gets you a squared. And then you've got a c. That becomes c. All right. Let's maybe look at another one and then we'll see if there's any questions. So 15 times 3, that becomes 45. And then x times x squared, what should that be? X times x squared.
X cubed.
X cubed. And then, of course, you've still got y left over. All right. At this point, any questions? Anyone maybe confused about E?
No.
No, we're all good. All right, let's move on and look at a division question now. Again, a bit of revision from what we did. Let me see if I can find some harder ones though. Let me find questions where I feel like you guys will go wrong. Okay, this one. So we'll do an easy one first. A, what I said last week, I said, please try to, unless you're really, really comfortable with it, but for the beginning, try to write your divisions as fractions. That way you won't get any mistakes. You can tell your x squares, they're the same, so just cross them out. And then negative 27 divided by 3, simply negative 9. This one here though, this next one, 15ab on negative 3a squared. Okay, well, again, we'll do our numbers first. 15 divided by negative 3. 15 over negative 3 is negative 5, right? And then here, look, I've got an a on the top, but I've got an a squared on the bottom. Because a squared is bigger than the a that's on the top, when I cancel out my 2 and my a, I'm left with a in the bottom. We remember that? Compared to if I had this case, this one I would have had a on the top. This a squared's bigger, so I've got a on the bottom, and then you've still got a b on the top. Let's do another one of those, I think, right? Let's do this question, but what we'll do, I'll change this to a 2 and make this into a 3. So the question is 56t squared on 8t cubed. Again, 56 divided by 8, that's 7. And then you're going to do your letters here. So t squared and t cubed. Which one's bigger? Well, the bottom's bigger, right? So when you're going to take 2 away from 3, you're going to have none left over on the top. You're going to have 1 t left over on the bottom. So 7 on t. Because the 3 was bigger than the 2. You can also think of it like that. 3 is bigger than the 2. So when you do 3 take away 2, you got a 1 t left over at the bottom. Anyone confused about that? Because that's really, really important. That's probably the biggest mistake every student makes. So anyone yeah.
Why is it 7 over t instead of just 7t?
Yeah, good question. See, that's what I want you to ask. So 7 over t. So let's see what the question would have been for it to be 7t. 56t cubed on 8t squared. Okay. Well, what happens this time? What's 56 on 8? 7. Now, what's t cubed on t squared? Well, again, what's 3 take away 2? Still the 1. But where is your t this time? Is it in the numerator or is it in the denominator? Alvaro, what do you reckon?
It would if you
Right now, where's your t? In the numerator or in the denominator?
in the numerator.
Yeah, right. When you did 3 take away 2, you've got a t in the numerator, 7t. Whereas here, when you did 3 take away 2, 3 take away 2, you have a t left, but where's your t? Is it in the numerator here?
Denominator.
Yeah, in the denominator. That's why I'm writing 7 over t. Let's do a few more of those, right? What do you reckon? Let's do a few of those. So let me open up a new page and let's do a few of these examples. So if I said 8a squared on 4a to the power of 4. Alvaro, let's do it together. So what's the first thing you would do?
8 divided by 4.
Which is?
2.
2. Then you're going to ask yourself, okay, I know these two are going to cancel out. Obviously, which one's the bigger one, the 4 or the 2?
The 4.
The 4. So you're going to take 2 away from 4. 2 away from 4, which means how many will you be left with at the
2.
bottom? 2. But can you see a squared? Is it in the denominator or numerator?
Denominator.
So therefore, your answer is 2 on a squared.
A squared. All right.
That makes sense. Let's do it a few more. Exactly the same. There you go. All right. What's 8 on 16, Alvaro?
2.
Ooh, is it 8 on 16?
Oh, -2.
No, not negative.
Right.
Wait. 8 on 16.
0.5.
Yeah, 0.5. 1 over 2. You see, the mistake you made is the mistake you would make with the algebra. So think of it like this. If you're going to think 16 divided by 16 divided by 8, you said 2. And that's okay if you think of it like that. But where is the 16? Where's the bigger number? Isn't it on the bottom? So when you say 16 divided by 8, you'll have 2 in the denominator. Whereas here, when you did 8 divided by 4, 8's bigger, so you've got 2 in the numerator. Or you just obviously know 8 over 16 is a half. Right? Now, what about this side, Alvaro? Go. What do I do here? A to the power of 4 over a to the power of 2.
A squared on the top.
A squared on the top, and that's it. You're done. See, this cancels out, that cancels out. You've got a 2, but you've got the a squared on the top. Does that clear it up?
Yeah.
Don't make the mistake of 8 over 16. You know 8 divided by 16 is not the same as 16 divided by 8. So be careful with that. All right, good work. Anybody else have any questions? So very important to know if it's in the numerator or in the denominator. Okay. I will probably come back to it because we'll be doing a fair bit of it still. But that's all we've got here. Algebraic expressions and the order of operations. Okay, so now we've got to apply our order of operations, which is, of course, there's a lot of them. There's BODMAS, there's BEDMAS, there's BIDMAS. That's the one I use. Anyone else know any other acronyms that they've learned? No, those are pretty much it. I use this one, which just stands for brackets, indices, division, multiplication, and then, of course, addition and subtraction. Whereas those who, I think most students use this one here, O, they say of, What does of even mean? So I don't really use that version. I use this one here. We call it with an I, indices.
My teacher does the O as orders.
Orders?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like, how do we apply that? Brackets, orders. Yeah, I don't know either. So I don't know why they use O. It's meant to be I. So big mass is saying indices. So you'll do brackets and indices first, then you'll do division and multiplication, then addition and subtraction. Okay. So let's look at a question. Let's do G. Let's do F. And I think that pretty much covers it for a few of them, but we'll do B and we'll do E as well. All right. So let's start with G. If you ever have, okay, here's an important question. So everyone thinks it's always division before multiplication and multiplication before addition and so on. It is true between these two. So multiplication is before addition, but division is not before multiplication. If they're in the same group, like these two are and these two are, then we read from left to right. So it's not division before multiplication, right? It is, if it's division and multiplication, like in this case, then we read from left to right. You don't do the division and then come and multiply. Is that clear? We understand? So if it's in the same family, we just read it from left to right. That means if it was division first, then you do it. If it was multiplication first, like in this question, then you do that first. Yep. All good? All right, let's do it. 42x times 7. So that's the first thing you do. 42 times 7. 7 times 4, 280. 7 times 2, 14. So that should be 294. If I haven't done that wrong in my head, that should be right. 294x. And then we're going to divide that by 14x. So you can see it's pretty much what we've just done. Just you can say it's got an extra step. Your x's straight away, you can cancel them out. 294 divided by 14 should be 21. All right, any questions there? Let's do the next one again, because it says times first, we'll do that. 6 times 12 is 72. A times A squared, and then B. I might just make this a bit thinner. Over, and then over A squared. I think most of us can just tell you're not going to divide anything by the number. B is not going to go anywhere. Your A squared and A squared will cancel out. The answer is 72B. Yep. Let me know if I'm going too fast, you guys. -4, this is all time, so I'm just going to times it all across. There's nothing fancy to do. Just start multiplying. So -4 times 8 is -32. -32 times 3 should be 96. So that's positive 96, because a negative and a negative makes a positive. And then A times A?
A squared.
A squared. Good work. This one here, you've got two divisions. There's no such thing as two divisions. So what you do one at a time. You'll go 18x, y, z over 6xy. You'll do that first. Well, 18 over 6 is 3. X gone. Y gone. Z's on the top. Keep it on the top. And then we've got to divide by z still. So you can see it's just two steps. The first step would be I guess these two, and then the second step is once you've simplified these two, 3z divided by z. I think we can tell the z's will cancel out, and we're left with 3. All right, good work. Any questions there? All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Let's try. Again, you guys can try these. And then we'll mark them together. B, C, D, and E. So go ahead and try to just write down your answers for B, C, D, and E. Don't say anything. Unless you're having problems, then let me know. But try to see if you can do it. And then we'll mark it together. Okay. Shall we go through it? Jono, let's see how you go with this one. -5 times -8 times 8. Were you able to work that out? Jono, can you hear me?
Yeah, I just had to get my charger.
Okay. Adele, for B,
Yeah.
did you get it out? -5 times -8 times 8. What's that? Well, what's -5 times -8?
Sorry, 40.
40?
40.
40? Yeah, 40.
Yep. 40x times 8. And then what's 40 times 8? 4 times 8.
Wait. 320.
You know you can use your calculator for this, right?
Yeah, I am.
Calculator's allowed, yeah. All right, that's it. And then 320x. Thank you. Let's try this one. 18ab divided by 9a divided by 8b. All right. Zara, help me out with this one. 18ab divided by 9a. And then, of course, we're going to divide 8b. So what did you get here?
I got 2b.
This
Divided
becomes
by
a and a
18.
cancels. Yep, 18 over 9 is 2b, and then you still got 2b divided by now 8b. So your second step, right? You just finished that off. Now you're doing the next bit, and then what did you get as your final answer?
1/4.
1/4. So b and b cancels. 2 over 8 is 1/4.
Sam, could you say 0.5 as well?
Say that again, sorry?
Could you say 0.25 as well?
Yeah, of course. The only thing that you want to learn is in high school, we rarely use decimals unless the question says to write it to like 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places or something like that. But otherwise, we usually use fractions. And even in fractions, actually, we don't like to use mixed numerals. Usually our answers are in improper. Improper is good, mix is not good. Again, unless the question specifically says write your answer in mixed numerals, then obviously you have to leave it as that. Or if it says write it in decimals, then you'd leave it as that. but usually this one's the one that we want. Improper and, of course, proper fractions.
Yeah. Okay.
This one here, I think some of you might just be able to see it. What's the answer straight away? Just, you know, the same number divided by the same number. Close. It is.
-1.
It's -1 because there's still a negative there. So if I said, oh, you did say negative? Sorry, didn't hear it. 42 divided by -42. You guys know the 42 and 42 will pretty much cancel. You're left with -1. So that's not too hard. All right, this one here. You do your brackets or your indices first. So 8 squared, 64. A squared, A squared. B squared, B squared. Anyone get that out?
I got 4 as the final answer.
Yeah, the answer's 4. But so that means you did get it right. Good job. So 64, A squared, B squared, and then pretty much this cancels out with that. This cancels out with that. 64 on 16 is 4. Any questions there? No, that makes sense as well. Okay. Please don't hesitate. Adele, what do you reckon actually? Does that one make sense? E?
Sam,
Yes.
just to confirm, like, because it says AAB and has a square outside the bracket, does that mean everything has to be square?
Yeah, that's correct. Everything on the outside, sorry, everything in the inside is squared because it's got the whole bracket squared. That's exactly right. So if I did, let's find the question. If we did this one here and I squared it, the way you would read it is 20a times 3 squared, which is 9, and then a squared, divided by 5a.
Okay.
And then to finish it off, 20 times 9, 180, a times a squared, a cubed on, and then 180 over 5, we simplify that. So, Jamie, is that, if you could put yourself on mute, you're just moving a little bit. A squared. Thank you. A cubed and a. So one more time. First, if this is squared, this becomes 9a squared. Then I multiplied these two. They gave me 180. A times a squared is a cubed. And then divided by 5a, so over 5a. 180 over 5 is 36. And then 3 take away 1 is 3 take away 1. You're left with 2 on the top. So 36a squared. And that's how it would work if that term was actually squared. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, guys, let's do a few more. Let's try, let me have a look. Use the rules for the order of operation to simplify the following. Yeah, so I'll do the first column. You guys will try to do the second column. So the first column, all right, we can see there's a division sign and a subtraction sign. Obviously, we know from order of operations or from BIDMAS, we have to do division before we can do subtraction. So 24y divided by 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4y. Or if you wanted to do it like this, you'll still get 4y. Take away 4y. And then obviously, what's the answer to this? What's 4y? Take away 4y.
0y.
0. Oh, no. Oh, you don't need to write 0y. You just write 0. Because 0y is the same as 0.
Okay. Would you lose a mark if you said 0y in a test or exam?
You won't lose a mark, but we just don't write it.
Okay.
So it's better to get used to it like this.
Also, the other thing is, Sam, I've got an exam coming up in like 2 weeks, so yeah.
Yep. When we finish up, you're going to send me your assessment notification and we'll do that. That's no problem. 15 times 8, that's 120p, right? So I did the multiplying first. You don't do the subtraction because there's a division here. So I did these two. That's down here. Then I'll do these two. The subtraction stays there. 35 divided by 7, 35p over 7. 35 over 7 is 5, and you still have the p. So can you guys see when when you look at this, it might be a bit scary. When I see this, I break it up into two components, and that's what I want you to learn. You're going to break it up into two components, and then you're like, okay, I did that first bit. There it is. I've done that. Now, what's 120p? Take away 5p. Well, that's just 115p. Yep. Any questions there? All right. Last one. 35t take away 8 times 4t take away 6t. Okay, so I know the only thing that I've got to do before I can do all these subtractions is to do 8 times 4. 8 times 4t is 8 times 4 is 32t. 8 times 4 is 32, and then put a t. And then all you've got left is what? 35t minus 32t minus 6t. And then you're just doing 35 take away 32, which is 3, and then 3 take away 6 is negative 3. For those who can do it in their heads like that, great. For those who can't, it's fine. You've got your calculator. You can go 35, take away 32, take away 6. And that should still give you negative 3, and then you just put a t. All right, any questions there? If you can, if you're ready, start B, E, and H, please. Okay, let's go through it. Let's try Cindy with question 3B.
I got 36x.
36x. Let me have a quick think of it. Tell me how you did it.
I did
So-
10x times 3x, and then I got
10x.
6.
No. Why did you do the times? Why did you do times 10? Isn't it 6 here? That's times by 3 first. Why is it that you brought this all the way here?
Oh,
So the 10x is adding to 6, but the 6 is being multiplied by 3x. So what you would do, you would multiply these two together, which becomes what now? What's 6 times 3x?
18x.
That's okay, 18x, and then plus 10x.
28x.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Simple. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right next to it. So you wouldn't really do this one with this one. So it's like this. E, you wouldn't do this with this. You'll do this with the guy right next to it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All good. E, let's try. Who do we have? Chloe? Chloe, let's do E. What's the first step?
The first divide. 40
Yep, so
and then 6
divided by 6m. Yep. Which gives you what?
7.
7, because 7 what? N.
7n.
Yep, the m's cancel out. 42 divided by 6 is 7, and you still have an n. Good job. And then you're left with 7n, take away, yep, minus 8n. Equals?
Negative n.
Good job. Cindy, does that one make sense as well? What we just did there?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. And let's try Alvaro. Do you want to try this last one?
Yeah.
Okay. 16a. Wait, let me just write it up quickly. On 4, and then we're going to take away from 28a on 7. So you're going to do one bit at a time. You first do this as one group, this as another group. So
16a divided by 4
Becomes-
is 4a.
4a, good job.
And
Minus?
then minus 28a divided by 7 is 4a again.
It is. Good job.
And so it's 0.
Well done. That's fantastic. All right, there you go. So, yep, exactly as you said. We're going to group the first two, write them as divisions or fractions. Next two fractions, and then subtract right at the end. If you had a question like this, what do you do first, the division or the brackets? Well, yeah, BIDMAS, right? Brackets first. So it's going to be 15a divided by 8a take away 3a. 8 take away 3 is 5a. So you first work out the bracket. Now this is really easy, isn't it? 15a on 5a. The a's cancel out. 15 on 5. And that just gives you 3. All right, that's good. Let's do some more. Let me see. I'll do D. I'll do E. And we'll do H. All right. Let's do this together. So 9 times 6. All right, if I see this, I'm like, okay, first I've got to do the times. Then I'll have to simplify this divide. Then I'll look into the fraction. So 9y times 6y. 9 times 6 is 54. Y times y squared. Over 12. Well, if you couldn't do this horizontally, then just write it on the side. vertically like this. Work it out. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Y squared and y, the 2 cancels out, the y cancels out. You've still got a y in the numerator. So that's 6y. Right? So that becomes 6y. And then now you've got this question, which is pretty much what we've already done 100 times. 54 divided by 6, you go 9. Y squared on y. This and this cancels out, and that gets you 9y. Starting to get the hang of it? You can see it's multiple steps. 18 times 4, what's that? 72 n squared, because n times n is n squared, over 2 squared, which is 4n squared. 4, 2 squared, and n squared, 4n squared. Again, these two cancel out. 72 over 4 should be 18. Any questions? Am I going too fast? Adele, are you keeping up with all this? Is this fine? Maya, all good?
Yeah, a bit.
A bit, yep. Maya, what about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay, all good. Let's try H. 15a take away 15a divided by 5. Okay, this is a big one. 15a. You can't do anything to that. Minus, I've got brackets, so I'll do the brackets first. What's 15a divided by 5? Again, if you can't do it that way, just on the side somewhere, write it as a fraction. 15a divided by 5 is, yep, 3a.
Yeah.
And then that's 3a, so 15a minus, I worked this out, 3a minus 2a. Very easy. 15 take away 3 is 12. 12 take away 2 is 10a. Am I done?
Wait, there. Did you do the brackets first?
Yeah, I
Or did you
did.
start from the start?
No, look, I'm writing the start, right? I'm writing it, but I'm not using it. See, I didn't do anything there,
Okay,
and I
yeah.
didn't do anything there. So, I mean, if that's, yeah, I technically am starting with this first. I worked at that. That was 3a, and then I just thought I might as well write everything down.
Yeah.
So no, I am doing the brackets first. I'm writing it, but I'm not using it, if that makes sense. So like here with G, look, if you wanted to not write it, you would say, okay, what's 9 times 5x? That's 45x. Then you would write 5x plus 45x minus 4x.
Okay.
Yeah. And 5 plus 45 is 50. 50 take away 4 is 46x. All right. Any questions? Okay. All right. Something a little bit easier probably than all this now. So you can tell what's the hardest bit. The whole, I think more the division, but order of operations in general with algebra is rather complicated. But all right, let's look at this. Grouping symbols. This one isn't hard. Grouping symbols. All you've got to do is just kind of go the first one, first number. Okay, wait, before I start, what is between the 3 and the bracket? So what goes right there?
At times.
A times. So between the 3 and the bracket, there is a times. So all you're actually doing is 3 times x and then 3 times y. So I'll write it in a long version. 3 times x, which is 3x, plus 3 times y, which is 3y. Let's do that again. 5 times 2a, 5 times 2a, 5 times 2 is 10. That becomes 10a plus 5 times 3b, 5 times 3b, 5 times 3 is 15, and then b. And you can't add unlike terms, so you're done with that. That's your final answer. All right. At this stage, is anyone confused?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. That's Adele, is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, stay on, don't worry. Yeah, let's do this one together. So you're meant to multiply these two, and after that, you're meant to multiply these two. So let's do the first arrow. 4 times 2a. 4 times 2a. What does that become? What's 4 times 2?
8a.
Yep, 8a plus, and then you're doing the next arrow. 4 times 3.
12.
Done. Now let's recap these. Look at this. 5 times 2a, 10a, plus 5 times 3b, 15b. You think you get that?
Yeah.
Let's try a few more, don't worry.
So it's always
Six-
times.
Yeah, of course, always times.
Is that just the answer? Like 10a plus 15b?
Correct. 10a plus 15b. Yes.
Oh, so
Why?
there's no like fun
what-
answer.
But that is the final answer. Are we allowed to add or subtract like terms? Something we learned last week. Are we allowed to add apple plus banana?
No.
I don't know what that means. Unless you're making a smoothie, that sounds confusing. But you're allowed an apple and an apple? Yeah, that's 2 apples. So you can only add like terms. Like terms. Unlike terms, these ones, they're unlike. Well, the answer is still a plus b. You can't do anything to it. It's done. So yeah, if they're unlike, like this is an a, this doesn't have an a, that's your final answer. This is an x, this is a y, that's my final answer. But if I scroll up, just so you guys can see, so here I've got a 5x, a 45x, and a 4x. Because they're all x's, I'm allowed to actually add them. They're all a's, I'm allowed to simplify that. Okay, but if they're not the same letter, I'm not allowed to do that. And yes, Adele, it's always times. That's correct. That's what you want to learn. So when there's
Okay.
brackets, it's always times expanding inside. So let's just do this one real quick. Adele, what's 6 times 8a? 6 times 8a. What's 6 times 8? 40.
48.
And then a.
Okay.
Minus 6 times?
7
What?
equals 42b.
Yeah, you got it. Boom. And that's it. You just keep
Okay.
repeating that. Here we go. I'm going to get a little bit faster now. 8 times m. 8m. 8 times 3p. 24.
24p.
All right, you're faster than me now. There you go. And then 5x. Let's do it a little bit harder. 5x times x. What is 5x times x? What do you guys remember? X times x. What does that become?
5x 2
Squared.
squared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could, if you want to say 5x squared, or you can say 5x to the power of 2. Good job. 5x squared plus 5 times 8 is 40. And then x. The x that you still have here. All right. Any questions? 9a times a, 9a squared, 9a times negative. It's good to draw the arrows so you don't forget what to do, actually. Minus 9 times 2 is 18, and then a times b, ab. All right. let's look at exactly the same. So don't even think we're going to do anything differently. It's just that they're negative numbers. So you've got to just remember your negative laws with, like, you know, two negatives make a positive and so on. So you just got to keep that in mind. Times negative 3x. And then what's negative 3 times positive 2? What's negative 3 times 2? Negative 6. Does that make sense what I did there? Mike, you guys can still hear me, or what's happening? Matthew, you there? Matt? What's happening? I'm glitching.